What does God say about taking care of your critters? Good morning, everyone. June the 3rd. June the 3rd, we're going to look in, one of my favorite books, Proverbs. Proverbs 12:10, and it says simply, good people take care of their animals. Good people take care of their animals. That's right. That's what God expects you to do if you're one of the good people. And you know that I love that. You know that I'm going to use that in any devotional that I wrote. By the way, this Catch of the Day is a book I wrote several years ago, and it's got a scripture, a fishing tip, and a devotional for every single day of the year. We do these every morning here on the Catch of the Day YouTube channel. We post them at 5 o'clock every morning. Now, if you've missed some of them, go back and check them out. It's going to make your day start out better, I guarantee. Good people take care of their animals. Here's what I wrote about that. I've got a real passion for the fish in our private lake and for deer and turkey on our land. When the lake floods, Chris and I go to a hole down below the dam and catch the bass that have gone through the spillway tube. Now, that's ancient history right there. Like I told you, I wrote this book several years ago, and we don't do that anymore, but we used to do that because there was a hole down below the dam, and when the lake flooded, the fish would actually go through that spillway tube. And if we don't go down there and catch them, they'll die of starvation. We catch these bass. What do? We haul them back up and put them in the lake. Now, we lost this lake that you're looking at right here, Twin Eagle Lake. We lost this lake back in 2015. The dam broke because that tube that we're talking about, those bass went through, is 3 foot wide. That tube actually had holes rusted in it. It was poorly constructed. Should have had concrete in it, didn't. It was really a error by the people that built the dam. But anyway, and it blew out during a real rainy season. And this lake that you're looking at went completely dry. And so we didn't have to do that anymore. But let me tell you something that we did when that lake was down really, really low. Now, when this lake drained, you couldn't walk out to the water because you would sink up to about your knees. Well, actually, my granddaughter, Jordan, actually sunk up to her hip in muck when she tried to walk out to the water. She wanted to walk out there and try to catch a fish, and she couldn't even get out. It was so funny. And Jamie had to actually rescue her. She'd have been stuck there until the water come up, I guess. But anyway, you couldn't get down to the water. But once the lake finally got down to where there was only about an acre, maybe a couple acres of water. Hi, Milburn, baby. Hi, baby. You walk out here on the dock. You going fishing? But anyway, she got stuck in that mud and was just really a mess stuck in the mud. But what we did is once this lake got down to about an acre or two, and you could get down to the water, and it was right down by the dam, and there was a hole, and we'd go down to the steep deal down into what used to be 50 some odd foot of water. And we would catch bass out. We'd go down there like every day, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day, and catch bass and crappie and bluegill. It didn't matter. Every fish we caught, we'd put in a big fish tank in the back of our side-by-side, and we'd carry them over and put them in another lake. And we saved hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of bass, crappie, and bluegill and put in that other lake. And I told one of my biologist buddies I was doing that, and he said, Jimmy, he said, you idiot, you can't stockpile bass. And I said, I wasn't stockpiling them. I was simply saving their life. That's all I was doing. And we actually ended up catching some small bass out of that other lake and crappie and moved them back. You got a fish, you're eating the dip net. You ate a hole in the dip net. Now look at that. Now what are we going to do now? You ate a hole in the dip net. You're not really concerned about that, are you? Oh, Milburn. But we actually caught quite a few fish out of that other lake and moved back in there once this lake got filled back up again. But if you have a body of water, you fish, a pond or a creek, take good care of it. Here's the deal. God expects you to take care of the creation over which He gave you dominion. He gave us dominion over the fish, over the animals, but He expects us to take care of that creation. Even if you don't own water, but merely have permission to fish, put out a feeder, feed the fish, fertilize the water. If you take care of the little places that we fish, we'll have lots more bigger fish to catch. Take care of your critters. You all know that this little guy right here, and I don't know if some of you know the story, some of you don't. This little guy right here, Apache, who works with us, for us here on the ranch, lives here on the ranch. Apache found this little guy crawling around on the highway, just kind of flopping around on the highway, was born on the highway. His mama got run over by a car and was killed, and Apache picked him up and brought him home to us, and we just couldn't let him die. I didn't really want a little buck running around here, but because they get kind of dangerous during the rut, we're going to have to put him outside the high fence during the rut. It's going to be hard for me to do that, but I'm going to have to do it because they can be dangerous. They go a little crazy when they get to chasing girls. But, we take care of him. Lucy was a deer that was just about to die, and we take care of. And Beamer, of course, Beamer is a miracle baby. She's be 9 years old this December, but Beamer had parvo as a puppy. We had actually 3 of them, 2 yellows, one that belonged to my daughter and one to my granddaughter, and then all 3 got parvo, and we spent several $1,000s on each of them. He was the only one that made it, but also Beamer has been ripped open. Her sides have been ripped open 3 different times fighting wild boars, wild hogs. And I can't keep her from fighting them. She'll probably do it again. Fortunately, none of them's killed her. She got a scratch on her nose right there from fighting a beaver the other day. No, not a beaver, a coon the other day, fighting a coon. And she drowned the coon, so she won that battle. But we take care of our animals, and God expects you to take care of your animals. It's exactly what He plans on you doing. And the more you take care of your animals, the more God's going to take care of you, I promise you. All right, here's our tip. Here's our tip. This is a good one, too. This is a really good tip. Shad have a tendency to concentrate in certain sections of a creek. Find the shad, and you're going to find the fish. And so they're not just going to be everywhere all up and down a creek. They're going to concentrate in certain sections. They're there for certain reasons. Usually it's because of food. Might be there because of spawning activity of the shad. But you find where those shad are, and you're going to find the bass. One of the critical things this time of the year when the shad begin to start spawning, which they're doing right now, is to watch if you're fishing a spinnerbait. If you're fishing a spinnerbait, and I do recommend throwing willow leaf blades this time of the year. If you're fishing a spinnerbait, watch when you wind that in and you get it right up to the boat. If there's a shad or 2 following your spinnerbait, that means that those shad are spawning. It also means that that's a really, really, don't chew on that. That's my boat lift. That's my boat lift. They tell me that one reason that animals like to chew on black wires is they're made out of peanut oil. That's why squirrels and mice like to bite your wires in two, too. No, you can't do that. You can't do that, baby. Hey. They don't understand no nearly as well as a black lab understand no. But these 2 deer, this deer and Lucy, she's running around up there in the yard somewhere. She understands no, that's for sure. But I have no clue what I was just talking about that right there. I was talking about those shad. But those shad, when they're spawning, that's the area you want to fish. If you find an area where shad are chasing your spinnerbait up to the boat, back to your boat, they're trying to spawn with your spinnerbait blades is what they're trying to do. That's an area you want to concentrate on. That's an area you want to fish. Are you not getting enough attention either? Huh? Are you not getting attention? Huh? The deer and Beamer are a little jealous of each other, but they love each other because I make them. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Remember, I love you.